Welcome to Drunk Pear,
where every week we talk about the best and the worst of our daily customer interactions, as well as read the email submissions from our listeners.
All right.
Like
so for those of you watching on YouTube, welcome. Thank you. As the rest of you all listening on all of our streaming services, thank you so much for joining us tonight for yet another podcast. We are up and live on everything. I'm so excited. But to start off with, Annie, let's go ahead and start with a good old-fashioned shot.
Woo! Cheers.
All right. So, for those of you new to the podcast, go start from the beginning. Go to episode 1. You're going to want to start from the beginning anyways because, A, it's going to give you an intro, and if you don't want to go to episode 1, just go to drunkpear.com. Or better yet, go to drunkpear.com. Go to drunkpearpodcast.com and check out all our merch. So, I know that we are still very new and very small, but thank you guys for all of the support you've already given us. And our merch is kind of fucking banging, so check it out.
Oh, it's awesome. There's stickers, there's cups. There's a backdrop that I'm definitely going to get for next time. I'm excited.
I'm really excited for all the, bright colors. So then that way, summer vibes. And also I can crop literally everything. Although, I love me a good fashion hoodie. Because, we blast the AC all day long. And I'm freezing. And if I'm not wearing my giant comfy, I'll be wearing a crew neck. So.
I need to get
except for tonight. Because So, I have 5 now. Wait, 4. I have 4.
Stop
so,
it.
I have
about 3.
Okay, so, for those of you who saw the YouTube video from last week, I was wearing a giant comfy. That's what that was. I'm not, that lazy and disgusting. They're just literally comfy. So, I have 4 now. I have a giant gray teddy bear fuzzy one that's a quarter zip. I have a giant double fuzzy one where it's a soft fuzzy on the inside and then a teddy bear on the inside, quarter zip. I have that tie-dye one from last week that is more lightweight and super soft. But because I loved that one so much, I got it in a very light gray. And it is
your fave.
The only thing that sucks is every time I have to go pee, I have to take it off.
It's not long?
Because I'm well, yeah. It's if you were wearing capris, that's how long it is. I'm 5'2". And that shit is long.
Oh my god.
If I sit on the couch cross-legged, I can have my whole entire legs in that.
Stop
Which,
it.
by the way, comfy. No, I love it. Comfy, if you see our podcast and you'd love to sponsor us or just send us free comfies, we will wear them on an episode. So, plus Annie needs to have her comfy virginity taken. Yes, oh my god, I love them so much. So right before I got a comfy, actually, I started wearing robes all the time. I don't know why. Johnny's mom bought me a robe, and I found this robe online that I really liked from a drag queen, funny enough. And so I started wearing robes nonstop right before we moved. And then I'm finally just I've been eyeing this fucking comfy for months now. Why have I not bought one? And then Afterpay suckered me in with a discount. Comfy suckered me in with a discount. And then my birthday, and I'm well, I'll just get 3 comfies. It'll be fine. Well, because I couldn't decide what texture I wanted. I'm well, why not just have one of each? One for every type of mood.
I mean,
it's nice because the lightweight one is just literally lightweight and comfy. But then the double layered one that's teddy bear on the inside and soft on the outside, it's really heavy. So for those anxiety and depression days, where you just you need a weighted blanket almost.
someone hugging you.
They are, yeah, they're amazing. But okay, we're rambling. Probably gonna keep this in on the edit, but Comfy, fucking sponsor us.
Comfy.
Okay. All right, Annie, you told the story first last week, so I will actually go first this week. I'm going to talk about a story that happened today. This lady had called in 3 different times. Always spoke to tier 1 computer reps, which is fine, because, like, her issue wasn't, like, worthy of being transferred to a senior advisor, which technically I'm not a computer senior advisor anyway, so if, like, I needed to get her there, I'd have to transfer her. But she goes, you know, I got this new device, I'm just trying to transfer data from one to the other, I can't find it anywhere. Well, the call initially got transferred to me from a phone rep, which you cold transfer those. I don't know why you are fucking consulting with me, which is already frustrating enough, but whatever. But it's so frustrating because it's like, just transfer them over. Like, I don't need this whole long spiel of something you know nothing about. Just fucking transfer them over. And so, get her over, and I, like, look at the previous, like, rep's notes that she spoke to, who actually, like, work in the computer department, and I'm like, okay, so, you know, you're supposed to do XYZ, update your software, you know, what's going on, and, she's like, well, I did that, and I still can't find any of my information. I'm literally getting ready to, like, borderline erase this device, because, like, it's brand new still, like, nothing's on it, and, I'm like, okay, and, of course, you know, our, like, screen sharing capability was still fucking down, so why would it work, and, so I'm trying to screen share with her, can't fucking do it, whatever. And I have her trying to go in, I mean, I'll just call it recovery mode because that's what it is. I think that happens on all devices when you have to go in the back end. And in recovery mode, she was telling me that there were multiple profiles listed. After I'd already spent 45 minutes with her trying to reinstall software. Keep in mind, it was not listed as a new device. And because the computer was not listed as a new device, I was trying to get her into recovery mode the old-fashioned way. Which obviously isn't going to work on a new fucking device. Because they have different fucking requirements and buttons. So I was already fucking frustrated. Finally, and I realized it wasn't, like, Grandma's fault because she was doing what I asked her to do. It just wasn't registering because the last reps didn't classify things correctly or register the new serial numbers. So, sure enough, I finally figured, like, I put 2 and 2 together for everything, and I get her to where she needs to be, and, I'm like, well, you know, let's reinstall some software, let's kind of mess around with things, let's see, because if you've already transferred everything, like, we don't need to spend another 3 hours transferring all this data again, that's just silly. And, she goes, well, there's 2 profiles on here. I'm like, okay, like, is it you and your husband? She's like, well, keep in mind, in the middle of this call, she goes, my husband just fell on the ground. It's okay, he falls on the ground all the time. Let me go pick him up. And I go, oh, is he okay? Like, what? And she's like, no, it happens all the time. He's got, I don't remember what disease, what old people disease he had, but he had something. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh,
okay.
No.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, fuck.
You're
and
like,
so I'm like,
should
okay,
you
well,
really
I mean, if
be
you're good
talking
and
to
he's
me?
good and, like,
Do you need to call 911?
because, like, I started panicking because I'm like, if this call gets pulled, they're going to think that I don't give a fuck about this lady and her fallen husband. So I'm like, oh my god, is he okay? So anyways,
Oh, no.
he's fine. It happens all the time. And he fell like 3 times during our fucking hour-long call, so love that. So she's like, well, I have multiple profiles. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, is, you know, one of them your husband? She's like, oh yeah, he can't use a computer. I'm like, okay, well, like, is it a test user? Is it a guest user? Like, because keep in mind, we're in recovery mode. So, like, a guest mode should definitely not appear, and I doubt a test would, but it could, whatever. I've never encountered it, but I've seen crazier shit happen. And she's like, no, it's my name. And I'm like, what do you mean it's your name? She's like, well, it's my name, but what was showing on my old device? This fucking rep who started helping her transfer data didn't merge the 2 profiles together, had her create 2 separate ones. I go, get out of this. Turn the device off. Let's turn it on like normal. Don't click, don't hold, don't do nothing. Starts it up. I said, log into that second profile for me. So she does, which keep in mind, thank God she had this recovery key. I don't know where the fuck she got this recovery key from. She pulled it out of her ass, but we had to reset this fucking password on her login screen. I don't know. I don't have words for this, because I couldn't see anything, which I couldn't see if we were in recovery mode anyways, but Jesus fuck. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. And so we get the password reset, we get her in, blah, blah, whatever. And I go, take a look, see if all your documents are there, see if all your applications are there. After an hour and 15 minutes, we realized all of her fucking data did sure enough transfer. It was just on another profile that she didn't even think to look at. I go, don't even bother using that other profile. Only use this one. She's like, but it's my old profile. I go, right. It's just a copy and paste from your old to your new. Like, it's still fine to be used. You're logged. We verified that. All of your shit's transferred. It's okay. And she goes, am I good then? I go, you're good. And she goes, are you sure? I go, I am sure. She goes, do I need to call back? I said, no, you're done. And she goes, okay. I go, okay, have a good weekend.
Oh.
Hour and 15 minutes to realize. And I asked her, I said, because she kept saying, oh, it took me back to my login screen. And she never once said, hey, it's kind of weird. There's this other profile here too, like my old login. Never once. But then again, like, I guess technically I should have asked her, but like also, like, that rep should have merged them together to avoid a fucking issue like this, especially with an older customer.
They don't care. They literally, like, they do what they can and then they're like...
Well, I mean, technically we're computer... Technically we're computer representatives tier 1, 2, though. So...
True.
Although you're going to get that senior advisor training Monday. Everybody, let's give Annie a round of applause for senior advisor training come Monday. Insert clap noise here. But,
I'm scared.
Yeah, I mean, it's just time off the phones. Don't play Overwatch like I did. You're probably going to want to pay attention to the tools so you don't, like, pull my mistakes. Which I literally do. And it's funny because after last week saying, like, oh, like, I almost never use those tools, I've submitted 4 senior advisor reports this week alone. And that's with me being, like, out with, because of my vaccine allergic reaction. Which, by the way, for all you anti-vaxxers out there, thank you so much for listening, but go fuck yourself. Go get the vaccine. Go get shot up in your arm. It will be fine. I promise you are not a sheep. You're not part of the herd. You're just doing society good because I miss fucking concerts, bitch. Okay. That's my 2 cents. I'm a little worked up still.
Well, everyone, we don't care what you gotta say, but guess what? There goes my headphone. Please get vaccinated. I'm a little nervous. Still gonna do it. Really scared. Well, I can't even take Tylenol PM or melatonin, and I have a panic attack, but it's for the
You can't take melatonin?
I'm so scared. I read so many Google reviews about night terrors. I'm scared.
Okay, so I'm a little blurry right now. Let's move the mic out of the view just a little bit. Okay, side story for our podcast, which I know you signed up. I mean, let's be real. You signed up just to listen to us just fucking bitch and complain and tell crazy stories. But this is my crazy story, not about customers today. First of all, melatonin is great. Take melatonin. Especially those melatonin CBD gummies I sent you a picture of. Fantastic. Love them. They're the best thing ever. Do not take 5 before bed, though, because somehow they will make you wired instead of make you tired. Take only 1. But my vaccination story, I already told you, Annie, but for all of our wonderful listeners out there, I suffer from severe anxiety, like none other, full-blown anxiety attacks when I've been on the phone with customers, actually. So CBD is literally my best friend. Take that back. If THC was legal, I probably still wouldn't do it because me high is not a good time with other people. So just kidding. Take that part back. But CBD is amazing. When I went to go get vaccinated, I was like, it was a drive-through thing, which is great, because then that way I don't have to get out of my car, and I have less, like, interaction. I just keep my mask on or whatever. And so it was great. Love it. But I was, like, 2 cars away, and I started breathing heavy. I'm like, oh, God, Megan, don't do this. Don't do this. It's fine. It's one shot. Get it done and over with. You don't even have to look at it. I had a sweatshirt on. It was hot as shit out Monday. Took my sweatshirt off, so I'm, like, grasping it. I'm like, cool, I have something to hold on to, something to squeeze. I get up. Finally, it's my turn. And the lady looks at me, and she goes, have you been vaccinated yet? And I go, no, this is my first. And she's like, are you getting 2? And I said, yes. She's like, okay, well, you have to wait 2 weeks, blah, blah, whatever. And I'm like, well, I'd rather get, the better of the 2. So if I have to get 2 shots, whatever, like if it means better rate or whatever.
Yeah.
I said whatever way too many times. But, so I have my mask on because, like, we have the window down and, we're in fairly close proximity because she's like, there's a barcode that they print out and, like, print on your car door. You keep your window down, so, like, they're scanning in and out. So we're, in fairly close proximity, so I keep my mask on. And I, like, lean over to the passenger seat, and I, like, remove my mask for a second, and I'm, like, heavily breathing. I can't breathe, and I'm just start crying. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, this fucking lady's watching me have a full-blown anxiety attack right now. So I put my mask back on, and I'm trying to calm myself down, which doesn't work. And she goes, it's fine. It's one shot. It'll be done and over with. It's fine. It's fine. The more she kept saying it's fine, the more I just started, like, a full-blown, just, like, my mask is drenched in my tears at this point. And so, I look away, because, like, I cannot see a needle. I have 13, 14 tattoos at this point, with a giant rib piece and, like, thigh pieces and stuff. But I cannot look at a needle, which I can't look at a needle when I get a tattoo. But I cannot look at a needle, otherwise, like, I have an anxiety attack. And so I'm, like, full-blown crying. She does it, which it didn't hurt, like, getting it, because the needle is actually really, like, skinny. It just felt like a small pinch, and she put a Band-Aid on it. She's like, you're good. And then I'm, like, sitting there. She's putting the sticker on my vaccination card and shit, telling me when to come back and stuff. And she looks at me, and she goes, you have your ears gauged. I go, yeah. And she goes, that had to have hurt. I go, well, I mean, kinda, but I stretched them. She's like, and, like, I have a hand tattoo. And so, my hands are in my lap, and she looks down, and she's like, that tattoo on your hand had to have hurt. And I'm just like, it's different, though. Like, tattoos, I'm going because, like, I thoroughly enjoyed the look of them afterwards. I'm getting vaccinated, I mean, because I want to, but also because, like, different, but, like, not the same. Getting a shot versus getting a tattoo. I'm not just getting a small needle just stabbed into me. I'm getting my skin randomly colored and barely torn. It's different, lady. So, I'm sobbing, crying, texting you, calling Johnny, and I'm like, I'm having an anxiety attack. And he's like, it's okay. And I'm like, I know, it's done and over with, but I have to do it again. And he's like, it'll be okay. And I'm like, yeah, because he was watching, so I was on my split, which thank God my split's about to be fucking over. But I went by myself, which I saw a lot of, like, older couples, like, they were together in their car and they both got done at the same time, which is probably smart. But, like, I had mine at, like, 1 p.m. and then Johnny came home early from work and watched the dogs, and then when I got back, he left to do it. And then you have to, like, sit in their parking lot for, like, 15 minutes to make sure you don't have any immediate reactions. And, like, Monday night, I was fine, but then, like, I don't know what it was Tuesday, but, like, my arm started swelling, and I started feeling nauseous, so I threw up. And then, like, when the swelling started to go down, then my arm became numb. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. So I, like, went to a quick ER, whatever those fucking places are called. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck happened, but I got the vaccine. And they're like, oh, cool, are you allergic to anything? I'm like, not to my knowledge. And they're like, oh yeah, you're allergic to this. I'm like, cool, love that. And they're like, okay, so we're going to document that, so when you go to get the next shot, like, you get, like, a variant of it, so then that way you don't have the same reaction. I'm like, that'd be great. So, that was fun.
Which one did you get?
So I actually have to work tomorrow morning to make up a few hours, because, like, I I told you, but I was trying to work as many hours as I possibly could to try to pay off my shopping addiction. Last week, or the paycheck we got today, out of my 80 hours, I worked 50.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yep. And this week, if I don't work tomorrow, I would have only put in 16 hours. So I'm like, well, I'll work a half day tomorrow and then work overtime next week. So.
Well, I missed that day and a half, and then I put in requests for coming in an hour early, and then a half day Saturday and a half day Sunday, and they all got denied.
Back to our regular scheduled programming.
Sweet.
So Annie, yeah, that was my story. Besides my vaccine story, but Grandma had all of her shit transferred, and sure enough, she didn't know it. So that was fun. Love that for us.
Love it. Love wasting an hour and a half. Honestly, literally not even sarcastic. I just love sitting on the phone and I'm like, take your time. No, it's fine. So, I don't know if I should talk about, now that we're on the subject, all the dicks that we've seen.
Be our first dick story, because if you break yours, I'll break mine.
Okay. Here we go. Also, I'm being attacked by a moth, so if I scream... Okay! God! Fucking... Oh, I just screamed right in the microphone. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's okay. Editing Megan will only be the one suffering later. Which, by the way, get some fucking AirPods. You even get the first gen ones. I should have just fucking sold you mine.
I know, I suck, and I fucking hate these.
But, when these were on sale, though, they were so fucking worth it. I think I saved $50 at Best Buy. And they're now literally my best friend, because I literally put them in every single day as customers are bitching about their shit.
I need them. Because I just mute customers, and then I just play videos. Okay, fuck it. Fuck this moth. Alright, anyway.
TikTok, Spotify, or any, lo-fi beats is constantly going on my phone.
I love that. I love lo-fi. Okay. So, my story is going to be one that we're both very fond about. It's our favorite thing in the entire world. 100% sarcasm. So, let's just paint a picture. You've got, 67-year-old man. He's on the phone. Just needs help. We're on the computer. Maybe the phone. And I go, okay. So, let's screen share. I'm going to read you the rules and regulations. Here's what we have to tell you about a screen being recorded so you don't sue us, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
If you have anything you want to hide, just let me know. I'll give you a moment. No, I'm all good.
Close it out.
Yep. So I go, okay, they're all good. Okay, screen sharing initiated. And there's his dick. Lots of pictures. Lots of dick pictures. And I said, I'm just going to pause this right here. So if you want to get rid of anything that's inappropriate or something, you don't want me to see. This is legitimately this. So we've definitely, both of us have seen our share of dicks, boobs, whatever, We all got the same shit. It's no big deal, but I also just I don't want to see yours. I don't know if I didn't ask to see it, whatever.
Unsolicited.
Yeah, exactly right. Unsolicited, just like the dick pics on the Snapchat for the kids. But this is the worst, I've seen this naked person story. I have,
please tell me they were saggy balls.
So they were they were at least in their 60s. But they were like sexy, quote, air quote,
No.
sexy photos he was sending to someone. So I'm pausing it. I tell them, please get rid of anything unsavory, you know. I'm trying not to make it awkward at all. I'm trying not to be like, I just saw your gross old man dick. So then he tells me it's fine. And I unpause the screen, and they're all there. He's opened every photo that he's ever taken. Definitely was sending them to a girl. And I'm just looking away at this point. Or... True. Sending them to someone that he fancied, might be. But he...
Well, keyword, he fancied.
True. He was sending them to somebody because they were very staged. And I go, okay, so...
What if he had an OnlyFans?
Stop. He didn't. I swear to God, because he didn't even know how to use his fucking computer. But if he did...
Hey, all you gotta do is go into Pornhub.com or OnlyFans.com, click upload. I'm just saying.
So yeah, I'm just sitting there like it's awkward. So you know how like screen sharing is, or pausing screen sharing is so freaking annoying because then you gotta wait for them to resume. Yeah. So I minimized the screen and I was just like, so what can I help you with? You know, and he's like, I can't figure out how to go into my photo, like my camera roll.
No. And
delete photos.
No.
And I was like,
no.
Okay, so, right, I go open up the photo app, select the photo, hit delete. Either on the keyboard, like right click, file, whatever the fuck you need to do. And he goes, well, can you help me, like, one by one? And I go, okay, well, I have to pause the screen because, you know, I go, with photos and text messages, we don't really look at the screen, especially with, like, passwords or anything. Yeah. He's like, no, can you look at these pictures while I delete them? So I said, I'm just going to place you on a brief hold. You know, I'll be right back in about 3 to 5 minutes. So I paused it, and I'm literally, like, shaking because I'm like, this is disgusting. I hate this. Saggy.
Well, at that point, it's not even about them. It's about you because if you're that uncomfortable.
But also, okay, in our training, I mean, obviously, I really hope that nobody ever encounters anything worse than just, like, nude pics. But I swear to God, I don't know how to react because it's like, am I in the wrong if I make them uncomfortable, even though they're making me uncomfortable? Because I don't give a shit. I'll make you uncomfortable.
I'm going to say
because you're
no.
Making me uncomfortable.
Because, I mean, depending on the verbiage. So, I mean, like, so I had one interaction where this guy had a bunch of graphic videos on his desktop. And I, like, I also did the whole spiel before it changed for screen sharing. And I said, hey, if you have anything, please put it away. And it was before we did that whole, it hides sensitive information, which I don't think it would hide nudes anyways. Because, like, that's not, a password. And he, like, kept making the windows smaller so that I would see more of his desktop. And I go, hey, if you don't maximize this window, I will disconnect from screen share and I will only walk you through this verbally. And he obviously caught on because then he's like, okay. And he, like, made the window bigger so that I didn't just see these fucking graphic videos. Because he would hover over them. I don't know if it was intentionally or not, which I think it was. But he would
probably,
hover over them and
desktop.
Well, he'd hover over them, and it's like, I don't want to see small tidbits of those playing. It's not, like, who's having a good time here? 'Cause it's not me.
Clearly them. But it's just like, that's so... Just stop.
I think the fair thing to do, because, like, you have to think of it this two ways. One, you're uncomfortable, so make them uncomfortable, but also make it so that if the call got pulled, you wouldn't get in trouble. So I think the key there is verbiage.
professional.
So if you said, hey, there's some things on the screen that you may want to close out, or like in your situation with the photos, I'd be like, hey, I can help you delete photos, and I can help you delete them in real time individually, but I'd really like you to scroll to a portion of the videos that are PG safe, or would make us both feel okay if they were viewed, or, you know, something along those lines. So, I mean, in that situation, if I just saw a bunch of fucking nudes of some old grandpa dick in different positions, I mean, like, hey, I will help you delete these, but I'd really prefer if you scroll to a section of your camera roll where we see things a little bit more appropriate.
Yep. And the thing that sucks is I would click back to see what photos he wanted to delete. And those are the ones he wanted to delete. And then...
Of course.
I go...
He regrets it. He was drunk.
Right. So I'm just like, okay, so click, highlight, you know, hold down, shift, whatever the fuck. I can't even. And then I'm like, and let me know when you moved them to the trash can. So I paused again.
Yep.
Okay, they're in the trash can. Unpause the screen sharing. He didn't move them to the trash can. And I go, okay, well, I'm just going to tell you one last time, like, we're moving them to the trash can. So finally, he gets them to the trash can. Everything's deleted. I go empty the recycling bin, or trash bin, whatever. You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, everything's deleted. So we're all done here, and he's like, oh yeah, okay, so like, what can I do to take you out to lunch? I'm not kidding. And I went, oh, I'm so sorry, you can't.
Okay, hold on. Okay, first of all, for those of you watching on YouTube, let's acknowledge that me and Annie are attractive females, right? You don't necessarily have to cheat on, like, your girlfriends or boyfriends with us. You don't have to, like, go and hit on us or comment on our photos and creep us. But let's acknowledge that, you know, we're attractive people. However, if you called in, you're not seeing our face. Because guess what? It's over the phone. Customer service. We don't fucking share webcams. Like, yes, there's been plenty of situations where I've had a customer turn the camera on their phone to point it at their computer or their tablet, which, I mean, it's a solution. So, I mean, I got to work with what I've got. But there's times where grandma points it at herself and she's like, hey. And it's like, no, I don't want to see your face pointed at the other device. So, anyways, I had one guy who... I don't even remember his fucking problem. It was when we first started, and he's like, you sound hot. And I'm like, thank you. And he goes, are you hot? And I go, what? I just sat there for a second. I'm like, keep in mind, we're new to the company. So I'm like, do I just say, yes, I am, because I know I am? Or do I say, like, thank you again? So I'm like... Yeah, I would say that I am. And he's like, let me get your number. And I'm like, oh, I don't give out numbers. He's like, well, let me get that Instagram, shorty. And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, what's your last name? And I'm like, I'm sorry, we can't give out, like, location. And keep in mind, for all of our listeners, your giving out your location is at your discretion. You do not have to tell them that you are located in the U.S., you do not have to tell them that you're located in your state. You can just say, like, if someone calls in, normally they're going to get a rep either in the U.S. or in Canada. If you say you're in the U.S., you can leave it at that. I've had customers argue with me and say they refuse to work with me because I won't tell them what state I'm in. That's fine. I'm and that was before I was a senior advisor. I'll transfer them to a senior advisor. I don't need to give out my location. In certain interactions, I don't feel comfortable giving that out. This happened to be one of those interactions. What state are you in? I'm not going to tell you. What's your last name? I'm not going to tell you. Kept kind of going back and forth. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm flattered because I don't think I have an attractive voice necessarily. I think it's kind of, especially when I, like, last week editing and I edit my YouTube videos, I'm like, my voice is kind of annoying. But, you know, whatever. Thank you. Compliment. And so it was just so weird, and I just kept trying to get him off the phone. And it was the hardest thing to do because he refused to hang up. And technically, we're not allowed to hang up on them. Which, you know. Yeah. Oh, sorry, my line dropped.
Oh my God,
but yeah, and so I'm like, oh, and keep in mind, I still new, so I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. So finally, I'm like, okay, have a nice day, bye. And like, thankfully, he finally disconnected. But it was so awkward because like, I'm not gonna just give out my last name. I'm not going to give out my location and my fucking Instagram and Facebook and everything else to some stranger. Which, by the way, segue, I don't remember which leader I was in, what chat I was in. But there was a rep in that chat that said she met her boyfriend through work. Not as a coworker, as a customer who called in.
Stop.
They hit it off, exchanged, I don't know if they exchanged names and numbers, but like I'm assuming that she like added him on some type of social media since she had his info and he like told her it was okay. But then they're like dating and they just happen to be in the same city and state. Kind of fucking awkward. Not gonna lie.
That's really weird. And also, have you literally had people tell you, like, look me up on Instagram, look me up here, here's my phone number?
Yeah.
I just had someone the other day,
oh, please tell me.
name blank. So, she was so nice. It was really funny. She was just this really nice girl from Brazil. She's telling me how she's coming to Disney, blah, 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was like, come to Brazil, I'll fly you guys down. And I'm like, okay, sure. And she's like, here's my number. Gives me her number. Obviously, like, one, I don't want to get, like, sued or somebody be... Also, I don't want to fucking talk to somebody that I don't know. That's weird, especially in a... I don't know. You know? No. Mm-hmm. I've seen too many horror movies. Yeah. I don't know you. We're not doing this. So, she leaves me a survey. Let me read it. Annie, A-N-N-Y...
Of course.
Was absolutely awesome. So patient, kind, blah, 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 blah. But I want to give her my number, gives me her number, so that she can visit me in Brazil someday. Thank you, sweetie.
So,
what?
I didn't have as creepy interaction as that, but we have every customer under the sun. And for those of you who are new to our podcast, which hopefully you're listening when we're like famous and you're just now listening to our podcast back, or if this is just your second episode because you actually listened to the first one, we have every customer under the sun. And there was literally one interaction that I had back when I was living in Utah. This lady lived in Colorado. Cool. Love it. Smoke it up. Talk to me on the phone. I don't fucking care. She was telling me how she owned this jewelry business. So, of course, I creeped. Overly expensive. Not that cute. Not my style, which I'm sure it was someone's style. And that's why she's, like, sold out of a lot of her pieces because they're all custom made, which is really cool. Which, by the way, custom making jewelry is fucking hard and it is expensive. My custom made ring that I made in Utah at a, like, jewelry store with a group of girls was $100. Which, first of all, the fact that I found, first of all, the fact that I found a gray stone that's my aesthetic. Gray is my life. I love it.
That's her favorite color.
It is. But, she used to tell me all about that. I'm like, oh, that's really cool, blah, blah, whatever. She's like, oh, on the side, I own cabins. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And she's like, take down my phone number. And she goes, I know you won't, but please do it. So she wasn't, like, creepy about it. Because she kind of knew. And I did take down her phone number, actually. She's like, take down my number. She's like, hit me up. I'm not going to give you a free cabin, but I'll give you a discount. I never did hit her up. But I still do have that saved on a piece of paper. Which I'm sure if, like, I ever reached out to her, like, way later, she'd probably forget. So I'm probably never going to do it now. But... like, I thought that was really cool. So, like, I feel like there's a middle area where you got the really creepy, the really fucking distant who barely want to even give you their name, or there's the, like, kind of chill in between.
You just chill with them on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, I'll chill with someone on the phone for hours if we just vibe well together. And, like, I don't know. Hi, again, my name is Megan. If you didn't listen to our fucking last podcast, again, my name is Megan. I studied photography in college. That was my major with a psychology minor. And because photography is literally like part of me, as much as I wish I shot more. I want to shoot more so bad. I have a really nice camera to shoot with. Because I don't shoot more, when I do get people call in and like, you know, they'll say, hey, can you help me compare like computer models? I'm like, okay, well, you know, on the side I do video editing, which, you know, for my YouTube, now I'm doing video and audio editing for the podcast. But I do photo editing when I do actually do shoots. And so like I'll kind of always use myself as an example. And what I absolutely love is the organic growth and great conversation that I bloom with people who do, like, photography. Like, we'll talk about old school, like, by the way, if you guys don't know, I'm fucking 29 now. I turned 29 on March 31st.
Yes,
it's tragic.
It was her birthday. Megan's birthday.
But it's great because we'll talk about, like, darkroom and stuff, which obviously no longer exists since social media and technology.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so much fun to like connect with customers who you have great interactions with. Oh, that's what I was gonna fucking say earlier before I fucking had a brain fart after the shot of Fireball. A lot of our interactions, yes, are gonna be negative and not so great because that's what we deal with on a daily basis. Or we'll have interactions that are so small that they don't mean shit and we'll fucking block them out because they take like 2 seconds of our time. But they're, like, these good conversations that we have, we either don't remember because we're so worried about all the shit that we deal with, or they're so rare. So, it's not that we're just trying to shit on your day and tell you about our negative shit. It's literally, like, this is kind of the way that it happens.
That's it. I'd say, like, 2 out of 10 calls are nice.
Are they nice or memorable? Like... So there's nice,
no.
And you're like, oh, that customer didn't call me a dumb bitch and hang up on me. Or is it like customers who you like had a decent connection with that you're talking about like some type of common interest?
1 out of 20 are memorable. 2 out of 10 are
like
nice.
Good memorable. Yeah.
Oh God, I don't.
Go ahead because I think I'm gonna title this podcast episode like the inappropriate / dick pic episode because after you tell whatever story you have, I have 3 short stories. One of them not being with the company we're with, and what was my third one? One of them was when we first started working after training. I can't remember. I'll remember the third one after you probably start talking, in all honesty.
Well, if we're gonna talk about... So back to the dick pic thing, because you were talking about the person talking to you about, oh, you sound hot, or you didn't know how to react when you first worked there.
Yes.
When I worked at this restaurant that I was at for like 6 years, it's like biker-esque, southern, whatever, rowdy, let's have a good time, bikers.
Florida
and
shit.
Tiki bar. Yeah, literally Florida shit. I was so nervous. It was my first serving job. I literally lied, said that I had serving experience, so I got hired. So
oh my God, they didn't even look into it?
No, I got, like, 3 of my friends worked there, so they're like, fuck it, you can work here. And then I got interviewed, and everybody was super nice that I interviewed with. We all became friends. We're all still friends to this day. But...
Don't you love that? Because, like, my sister's like, who are you doing this podcast with? And I go,
you're like, oh.
One of my coworkers. And she goes, you work from home. And I go, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
She's like, well, how the fuck do you know her then? I'm like, we both just started randomly. God, what was it? Like, was it Angelica just, like, added you to the group chat or something? And then I think I just saved your number and then, like, messaged you directly, right?
I was in group chat, and then...
Yes.
You emailed me and told me to send you my phone number. And I still have that email, because I actually found it the other day, random, when I was going through my work emails to make sure that I had my hire date correct. But you were like, send me your phone number, because we have something to talk about. And then... we probably texted about everybody that was fucking stupid in our class.
Sounds about right.
But
okay, so
that group chat, I was like, please, everybody, shut the fuck up. And then people were asking, like, what do I do with the Mac? And I'm like, bitch, talk in chat. Why are you texting us? We're not even supposed to have our phones with us. So, okay.
Quick side story for the podcast. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, which, by the way, any of Annie's friends who are listening to the podcast, I'm so sorry if I sound like a dumb bitch and I'm interrupting Annie all the time. That's just my personality, so I apologize. I get yelled at by everybody for this all the time. So it's not just me interrupting Annie. I interrupt everybody. So anyways, long story short, there was this girl in our training class who, I don't even think it had been a week, but she, like, reported that someone broke into her house, stole, and when our trainer was like, hey, did anything else get stolen? Like, did you file a police report? We need that police report for this. She goes, nothing else got stolen, only, the PlayStation's fine, the Xbox, Switch, the other, like, PCs. The work device the work device is the only thing that got stolen. Nothing else in our house. No phones, no tablets, no nothing. And, obviously our trainer's not fucking dumb. He was our very first trainer when we first got hired with the company. He's the best person I've ever met in my life. I actually follow him on Instagram. He's the best. But, he's like, I don't remember why, but I was like, that seems sus. And he's like, it is sus. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not the only one thinking it. And he messaged me and he's like, hey, shit you not. Because, like, I feel like I had a friendship almost with him at that point. And I'm like, hey, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, she just asked me how to remove the work profile from the device. Stop. And how to make it so that it could be used otherwise, or if it could be used otherwise. And I'm like, that's definitely a red flag. He's like, yeah, she's definitely fired, and because we have her, like, banking and routing number on file for, like, her pay stubs, she's now being charged for the work device. I'm like, why are you that fucking dumb?
Well, do you remember?
I would never even think, like, in all honesty, what I would love to do, because I accidentally got sent a larger monitor than I was supposed to get than everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
I got a 27 versus a 21 and a half.
I have the 21 and a half.
Well, my desk is so small. Like, I think I've sent you a picture of my desk, but it's so small that I don't even have room for a second monitor to plug in if I wanted, unfortunately. Oh, but because I accidentally got sent a bigger one, I'm like, God, think about how nice editing would be on this. I could buy a nice wireless mouse and keyboard to sync up with this. It'd be beautiful. Yeah, there's no fucking way in fucking hell I would think about doing that on that work computer, because I'm not going to be fired over my own selfishness. Selfishness? Fuck. Selfishness. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. We'll do that. If it's not a word, it's a word now. So, listeners, thank you so much for joining us. This is a small intermission before, I don't know how much longer this episode. I'm going to go ahead and sit here and plug all of our social medias. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok as Drunk Pear Podcast. We are on Twitter as Drunk Pear Pod. I don't know why it won't let us type in the full podcast. I think it's too many characters. We are on Facebook at Drunk Pear Podcast. We are already at about 120 likes. Thank you guys so much for the support. We are on all streaming services. So we are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Stitcher. We are on Spotify. We're on Overcast, which I didn't even know was a streaming service until literally an hour and a half ago. We are on Amazon Podcasts. We are on Audible. We are currently being streamed on Google Podcasts. That should be up, I'm hoping, shortly within the next week. Depending on when this is uploaded, it may already be up. We are on YouTube as Drunk Pear Podcast. And we have a merch site as drunkpearpodcast.com. All of our social medias and intros are on drunkpear.com.
You're good. So, I told myself while I was peeing, I was like, remember the restaurant story. Yes. So,
Okay.
not knowing... Oh, hold on. Okay, there's the light. Not knowing what to say when you first start at a job. So, weird restaurant that I worked at. We were basically just serving people, and I'm like, okay, whatever, let's do the thing. And these group of guys came up, and they're called like pipeliners or something. I don't know. They were just like construction worker guys, very rich, whatever the fuck. So some of them were okay. They weren't cute or anything. But the only one that hit on me was like 65 years old, and his name was Peanut. And he told me that if I showed him one of my nipples, he would give me $1,000. And I'm like 20 years old. I just started here. I don't know if he's serious. And I'm like sitting there like so nervous. No, I don't think I'm going to do that. Well, one of the other servers that's been there for like 10 years goes out back, shows her titties, and comes in with $1,000. And I'm like, I really needed this job at the time, so I didn't know if I'd get fired or, you know, whatever. And, I mean, at this time, I would definitely do it, because titties is titties, so whatever. But $1,000 for a nip.
I love that you just told that story, because, funny enough, so when I was 21, 22, 23 maybe? I don't remember. I bartended at this small bar back in Iowa, and we would have live bands. Nothing ever that big that was, like, wowed. I found a couple really cool, like, small bands I got into, but, like, they were small bands. We also had this, like, construction guys come through. They would work, like, a half an hour away, but, like, they'd want to come up to, like, my area because there was better bars and stuff. And, two situations. First situation was there was this one guy. I don't know if he had a girlfriend or wife, but he was the nicest guy I've ever met. Doesn't matter if I worked by myself. Doesn't matter if I worked with other people. He would always tip me personally $100.
I love that.
At the time, I was dating this shitbag who literally was in this metal shit band. Like, not shit as in, like, metal is shit, but, like, his band was literally trash. But he happened to play metal, but it wasn't good metal. And he was a woman hater, I will quote it as, because I don't really feel comfortable using the proper term. But he had not been nice to me on the stairs when I was walking up the stairs. And this guy came around the corner and saw what just happened in the interaction and knew I wasn't working and came up to me later after I came out of the bathroom and just gave me $100 and goes, if you're in a shitty situation, here's money to help you get out. I wasn't even working and gave me $100. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Okay. I made like a couple $100 off the nice guy. And that was me not like showing anything. He didn't ask for anything. He was just like genuinely a nice guy. I'm assuming he didn't have a family because like if I had a family, I wouldn't just be throwing around, you know, $100 every week for a single bartender. But
unless you hated your
don't get me wrong, I got a cute face, little waist, and a big bank.
I need dime. That's top of the line. Cute face, little waist with a big behind.
Do you have another dick pic or boob story?
I actually have 1,000 nude stories, which is
from
upsetting.
Our company?
Yes. 1,000.
Oh, tell me another one, and then I've got a nice
is that
little
an otter?
nugget. Oh yeah, this is the glass I sent you a picture of.
Oh,
Because you sent me the pictures of you actually swimming with otters, and I was so mad.
I know.
I'm so jealous.
Pip, she was such a sweetie. She's in the wild now because they just rehabilitate all the animals, and then they're like, bye. Okay, so...
I'm so jealous. By the way, our ladies and gents, on our link tree, which if you're on YouTube, our link tree is in the description. If you are on any other streaming service, go to drunkpear.com and I will have the link tree posted there. That will post literally everything. So it has all of our social medias, has Annie and I's personal Instagrams, has both of our personal Poshmarks, has my YouTube, which if you're ever curious on like clothing hauls or makeup hauls, I do have that there, which I would love to. I've been trying to get Annie to send me a fucking Shein clothing order so I can do a video with her, but she...
It hasn't come in.
No. The one I asked you to pick out an outfit for me.
Guess who forgot? I'm so bad at social media stuff. I'm like, yeah. What is this? I love this podcast. It's so fun. I feel like I can vent. But can I just tell you that Megan... I know she probably already just said this, but whatever. I turn around and we are on another social media. We have 20 other shirts made. We have an entire merch thing. She's dealing with some bullshit that we had to deal with where something got canceled, and to even make this work tonight. Let me just tell you guys, I have no fucking idea what to do. I literally have Facebook and Instagram, and Megan has actually broadened my horizons. I'll never get Twitter. I'm sorry. I made a TikTok just so we could like our video, and then I deleted it because I got really scared. But I just want to freaking say, holy shit, I love you. You are dope as hell. I don't know how the fuck you do any of this shit because I barely know how to turn a fucking computer on. And you're just like, merch, websites, podcasts. Okay, fake it till you make it.
So I know how much work and time and effort it goes into it. So if you need anything, do not hesitate to reach out. And if you feel like I've done a good job, I will be posting probably a job on Fiverr, actually. And I would love to work with anyone and everyone because, I mean, this is kind of my I'm not thinking of kink. Nick? What am I thinking of?
Niche.
It is more of my niche, and kind of something I'm familiar and comfortable with. So I would love to help you. Just like with Annie, I said, hey, Annie, buy this camera, buy this ring light, get some backdrops, do this and this and this. Let's get this shit going. So whatever you need help with, I know, let's be real, mainly Annie's friends are listening because my friends fucking suck. Which, friends, if you do listen, thank you. But you fucking suck. So, Annie's friends, thank you so much. So, if you do really need something, and I know Annie's already, spoken out about people wanting help with merch, just reach out to me and I can at least, at minimum, point you in the right direction and you can kind of go from there, so.
Alright, bitches. I swear to God, I have gotten a lot of DMs, a lot of texts telling me that you're gonna send your stories, and we only got 2?
Yep.
Alright, I see you. But I also see all of you beautiful fucking angels buying merch, and we really appreciate that. We fucking love y'all.
We literally launched this literally only a couple days ago, and the fact that people are already buying things for such a small podcast, thank you, Annie's friends, because let's be real, it's Annie's friends that are buying shit. My friends fucking suck. If you're listening to me and you're my friend, buy my shit. Or not, don't even buy my shit, but at least leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or I think Audible does 5 stars. Leave us 5 stars or follow us, subscribe to us, whatever your streaming service is requiring, because that is also free support. You don't even have to pay or buy anything, but just the free support will also get us to where we need to be. Because the more you support us, the more you like us, the more you do the small shit, that will get us farther in the future. So you don't even have to listen to all of our podcasts. Just follow us, just like us, just play us on silent while you go to sleep. I don't care. I will play a Justin Bieber here and play my podcast on repeat on silent while you sleep all night. Did you ever hear about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, have you also heard Anyone by Justin Bieber? Because holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm crying. Crying every day. Cry every day that I hear it. I play it every day. I sing it to my boyfriend and he walks away from me, but
do you blame him?
I said, you are the only one. And he's like, it's 9 a.m. Please stop. And I'm like, you.
I'm surprised you're even up at 9 a.m. because I can barely get you to respond to my text.
Okay. I am up. But then I lay in bed for an hour and debate, am I going to go back to sleep until 11? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But when I don't, I literally just lay in bed and I don't touch my phone. I just lay there and enjoy not doing anything, ever.
Perfect. Give me one more dick story.
Alright, so here's another dick story.
Mm-hmm.
Just the typical, somebody needs help.
Yep.
Alright, let's screen share, what's going on with the phone. Oh, it's freezing. Okay, well, what's freezing? This video I'm trying to send. Okay, well, are you connected to Wi-Fi? Do you have cellular data? Do you know, maybe if you're out of cellular data, do you have to be connected to Wi-Fi? And, I don't know. So we spend, 15 minutes just talking, and then, obviously we have to say, can we screen share? So I start to screen share with them. I tell them the whole disclaimer, the whole shebang, and they're trying to show me what video they're trying to send. I said, okay, well, I'm just going to pause right here. So if you want to get rid of, anything that you don't want me to see, anything like that. Oh, well, I'm just trying to send this one video. Okay. I don't see the video. They don't play it. But I
Thank
do
God.
see, the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And it's just him banging his girlfriend. So I just see, butt on leg on front butt or whatever. And I'm
front butt.
Okay. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Well, I don't know why you can't send it. Maybe it's too large. Haha. That's what she said. But I'm just like, okay, connect Wi-Fi. Do you have cellular data? I don't fucking know. Restart the phone. So then it finally sends. And then they forget that I'm still screen sharing, even though I'm asking them, I had to reconnect after they restarted the phone.
Do you know that after every reconnect, you have to reinstate that?
Yep.
Okay.
So here we go, blah, blah, blah. And they are aware, and they start going through their camera roll and just deleting nudes. And so I paused it, and I was like, I'm just going to end our screen sharing session here because the issue's been resolved. And do you need anything else? And he doesn't talk for 5 minutes. And I go, and I'm so sorry. I'm sending you our case ID. Do you have anything else to say? No, I'm okay. Unfazed. Literally unfazed that I just saw him banging his girlfriend's butt. And I was just like, alright.
Do you want to hear one? Do you want to hear one?
I want to hear it.
So it was right after training. Although we may have been in nesting, so I honestly can't remember. It was so early. Big burly dude. Again, I don't judge. I don't care. Big burly dude though. what ended up happening was his device was locked to a carrier. It was not a new enough device that he could like use it on any carrier. Back in the day, certain models were locked to certain carriers, whether they be GSM or CDMA. And I feel like that's fair across all devices, so I'm not spilling any tea. Anyways, so this customer called in and he bought a, whether it had been a CDMA device on a GSM network or vice versa, I don't even remember at this point because it's so long ago. But what ended up happening is he called in, he wanted his device unlocked. Long story short, he bought a device that, it was not unlockable. It was locked to a certain type of carrier or certain group of carriers, whatever the case may be. He bought it from Walmart. Duh. So if you buy it from Walmart, you got Straight Talk, whatever they offer. So, I mean, it's pretty black and white, but, customers don't understand that, and it's fine. They call us to complain. So, I explained to him that certain devices, hence the device he's calling on, is blocked by a certain carrier. So, he has to only use it on XYZ. Cool. And in the process, he goes, please, 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 take a look at my serial number, take a look at my model number. I want to make sure that everything matches what I told you, what is showing up in your records. So basically so that I can tell them the correct information. Sure. Love that for me. I was new. I'm going to do everything for a customer above and beyond. So I'm like, alright, let's screen share. The very first...
Hey, cheers!
The very first thing that pops up on this customer's screen, because you gotta remember, when we screen share, we can't click anything. We can't click anything. We can't modify anything. We can, at minimum, put up a red arrow. And even then, we can't always click a red arrow because sometimes it just glitches out. So we can just say, hey, we see settings to the top left hand corner, click that. So there's very few modifications that it can't do. So it's very, very, very limited. So when this customer and I screen shared, he had his photos up. They weren't photos of himself. They were photos of heavy-set women that he was sexting. And they weren't thumbnails of heavy-set women he was sexting. They were full-scale images of heavy-set women he was sexting. Any ladies who are listening to this podcast, love your body. Love what you do. Send every nude you can if you feel comfortable. However, do know that said person you send them to may or may not only send them to other people, but may show customer service representatives. I saw not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, 6 different heavy-set women's nudes, full frontal, not just boobs, full frontal, and I dead ass heard him say, "Do you like?" I go, I no longer feel comfortable with what is on your screen. I am disconnecting. He goes, okay. And I disconnect. And he goes, will you call me later? And I go, no.
Ew.
And he goes, should I call Walmart? And I go,
Yeah, bye.
yes. Guess what? As far as I know, he called Walmart.
Okay, side note.
Keep in mind, we were fresh new. So that happened. Also, podcast series, not series, episode 2, very, very quick side note before we wrap up with our customer sent episodes. I have to tell you this episode, or story, because it goes with this episode. I worked for a cellular carrier for 3 years. So I know how to work with our devices now, not only personal, plus prior, right? I've been in this for 5+ years. And that's literally what I tell customers when they call in. They're like, oh, are you new? No, I've been in this for 5+ years. Because realistically, I have. Have I been with this company? No, but in the long run, yes. So, fuck them. But anyways, back in my cell phone carrier days, I had a customer come up to me who goes, hey, my flip phone does not work. I go, oh, I'm happy with that. You know, you gotta do the same customer service spiel as you do over the phone, as you do with people, even if they're not buying shit, which is unfortunate because if you're working into a store, you are making commission, whatever. Biker dude, and I don't say dude lightly, I mean elderly dude, and his elderly wife come in, and they sit at my desk, and they go, hey, my background is not working. Okay, I'd love to help you with that. That's a quick, easy fix. Get you out of my desk. I can make a sale for an iPad for an elderly couple who doesn't know what they're doing. Because back in the day, when it comes to whether you work for any cell phone provider or you are buying from any cell phone provider, they're going to try to upsell you. It's what they do. It's commission. They make their bread and butter from commission. They're going to say, hey, I'm going to save you $20 if you buy this iPad. That's what they do. They're going to upsell you. Long story short, keep that in mind. So, I want to get these customers on my desk as quick as possible because I want to try then to upsell somebody, what you're trained to do. It's not something you want to do, it's what you're trained to do. And I go, okay, well, I'll help you with your background of your flip phone. I take his flip phone out of his hand, and it is his wife, who's next to him, spread eagle on his flip phone. Spread eagle.
Nope. Bye-bye.
And I go,
bye.
I don't remember what the customer's name was at the time, but I
Edgar.
Whatever his name was, I go, oh, so on and so forth. I go, oh, well, your background seems, okay, it seems set. And he goes, well, I want to know in the future how to change it. So I showed him on a flip phone how to change his background. Keep in mind, his wife had a smartphone. They were very much together. There was no rigmarole happening. And so what was happening on his flip phone was very much his wife's smartphone pictures being sent to him. I saw a lot of vagina that day that I very much never wanted to see.